Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and it's Debsy, and place to be, it's Debsy. Boop, boop, that's me. Boop, Debsy. Hey guys, and let's get you a little closer. Okay, there we go. I am downstairs, and I am on my lunch, so I thought I would try and get this in. I'm going to have to do this quickly, because I got less than 30 minutes, so let's get right to it. I'm in my underground lair on a busted tripod. See? If it wasn't busted, it would be like that. However, it's busted. So it's like that. I don't know if you can see all my head. Well, it's okay. You don't have to see all my head to know that I'm talking about the Golden Bachelorette. Listen, I hope everybody is having a great day. It's Thursday. So let's get right into the Golden Bachelorette episode 3 from last night. So Joan is going to have a breakdown this week, it looks like. Is she ready to find love? She doesn't know. She might not be. We find out that no one is sleeping because people are constantly getting up to pee. I can identify. And because of the snoring, I can also identify. Pascal, we find out he doesn't cook. He doesn't clean. He doesn't do his laundry. And Greg does all of this, and he still won't let him sleep in the same room, which is insane. Okay, so this week there's going to be 3 dates. There's going to be a very competitive group date. There's going to be 2 one-on-ones. Okay, first date card comes. It is a one-on-one, and it goes to Pascal. Okay, so I might need closed captioning for this date because it's tough for me to understand what he's saying. So she's saying that she picked him for this date because he's hot, but she also says that they need to get to know each other. She needs to see if there's lust out, but she needs to see if there's substance. So where are they going? They pull up to a PG. They pull up to a PJ, which is a private jet, and they're flying off to Vegas. Of course, they stay at the Paris hotel. They go to this hotel room, and this might get juicy. No, they go to a hotel room, and there is a piano player. They sip some champagne. They eat some little hors d'oeuvres and some hors d'oeuvres. And they try on clothes. They try on clothes for their date for that night. And they dance to a piano player. And then there's a knock at the door. And it's Wayne Newton. Okay, so it is Vegas. He is Mr. Vegas. I get it. And it's the Golden Bachelorette. So he comes in, they sing Donka Shane. Honestly, listen, I would rather it be Ferris Bueller singing. Wait, was he singing? Yeah, singing Donka Shane. But listen, it was, when in Vegas, I guess. She is enjoying this. She says she feels like he lifts her up and he makes her feel seen. Listen, I thought it was adorable that 2 of my favorites, well, my favorite is Gary, but Gary and Charles L., they go to the pharmacy and they buy some stuff for the guys to help them stop snoring. So I thought that was cute. Charles L., he talks to Guy because Guy is an ER doctor. He talks to him about his wife passing. He says that when she passed, there was like blood on her lips or blood in her mouth. And he always kind of blamed himself that like maybe he didn't do more and he didn't understand why this happened. So Guy told him that it was probably because when she fainted, she bit her tongue. And that's where the blood had come from. And Charles was so happy to just finally get an answer on this. So for the night portion of the date with Pascal, he's like, listen, I feel like people think I'm a snob, but don't judge a book by its cover. So, and then we find out Joan wrote code for computers. These women are very accomplished. I'm going to tell you, you go Joan. Pascal tells his story about his childhood. He grew up like poor. Like people were probably thinking Paris, very like chic. But no, he grew up in a poor part. He was poor. He never really got many compliments from his family, from his parents. So at a young age, he came over with some shoes that had cardboard in them to America, just himself, and he made it. This kind of made me understand him a little bit more, like, for seeing where he came from and now working himself up to the success that he is. That's very admirable. Does it make me really like him? No, I'm still not the biggest fan of him, but I can understand this. It makes me understand him a little bit more. Joan does give Pascal the rose because she has seen that there's not just style, but there is substance. She said he's not shallow. Okay, so the second date card comes. It's a group date. It's Chalk, the stalker. No, not Chalk, the stalker. Chalk, and then the stalker, which is Gil. Dan, Charles L, CK, Greg, Gary, Guy, Kim, Jordan, Mark, and Keith. So the one-on-one is going to Jonathan. Jonathan actually says he wishes he would have gotten the group date because this is going to be like spotlight on him, and it's maybe a double-edged sword. Like, okay, it's great that you got to spend time with her, but what if she sends him home? And if she sends him home, he's just really afraid of ending up alone. So the group date, they go to a football field. The guys are like, we're playing flag football. They bring out Eric Dickerson, Andre Reed, who are like legends on the football field. But we find out they're playing kickball. It's going to be the Golden Bachelorette Quaker Oats kickball. So, and I was in my mind, I was like, I guarantee you, afterwards, they're going to have a commercial for Quaker Oats. And then didn't they have on the sideline, they had Quaker Oats, and there's Charles L sitting there eating some Quaker Oats. Perfect product placement. Sign him up, Quaker Oats. So the winners get an after party with Joan. The losers, they go home and now get nothing. So Keith is nervous because he got the first impression rose on the first episode. He hasn't had any one-on-ones. I can tell you, I might be a little nervous if I was him too. So going into the game, it's all tied up, 2-2. Charles is on the blue team. Charles comes up, Charles L. He's worried because he has never played this game. He didn't know what to do. The coach was like, just kick it and run and you'll be fine. So they pitched the ball to him. They rolled the ball to him. And it's in slow motion. You knew what was going to happen. I mean, come on. So he kicks it. They don't catch it. And he gets on first base. But there's an RBI. A run comes in from him. So, perfect. I felt so happy for Charles L. He was like, I kicked the ball. They didn't catch it. Did you see? I thought it was so sweet. So at this point, it's 3-2 blue team. Third inning, the bases are, does it say bases? Bases tied? I don't know why I put bases tied. So third inning, the red team comes up as Guy. Guy's out there. He's getting ready. He's going to win it for him. However, he kicks it and the tying run is thrown out at home. So the blue team wins. So at the after party with Joan, listen, once again, Jordan is fine. Jordan is a good looking man. I still am resisting that he's old. He doesn't look like he's old. He's good looking. And she said he's easy to talk to. And he got a kiss. I don't blame you, Joan. Kim has given me Captain Lee vibes. Like Captain Lee from Below Deck. He even sounds like him. He's giving me Captain Lee vibes. Charles L's like, he had the best day. He's talking to Joan about his widowed wife, his wife. He says he always blamed himself for her because she had that blood in her mouth and maybe he didn't do enough to help her. I thought that was nice. They talked, and she felt very honored that he would talk to her about that. But here's the thing. I love Charles L. However, I know everybody wants him to make it to the end. I don't think he is. I don't feel any like romantical connection there. I just feel like it's friendship. You know what I mean? Like, just like I love Gary, I feel like it's a friendship. I don't feel like it's a romantical thing. Okay, now listen. Best part of this whole thing, didn't I call it? There was that Quaker Oats commercial, and it had my absolute favorite from the Golden Bachelorette, or from the Golden Bachelor, Susan. Susan is my absolute favorite. My favorite. She might be my favorite, like, woman who's ever been on any version of The Bachelor or The Bachelorette. She just might be. She probably is. So it was Susan. It was Kathy. Kathy looks good. I'm going to say I wasn't a fan of Kathy. Kathy looks good. Sandra, and I can't remember who the other woman is. I couldn't tell who the other woman was. Like, was it Nancy? Maybe? In the comments, put if you know who it was. Okay, so I love that. The red team, they get home. They're feeling all down about losing. But while they're at the after party, Joan gets a call from home. And it turns out her mom, who's 92, she's sick. And she has a respiratory infection. And Joan feels terrible because she's the one who takes care of people. She's not there for her mom or for her family. And she got a lot on her plate. I don't know how she is holding this, how she's holding up on this, because that's a lot. So listen, we now have the group rose coming up. The group rose, I'm going to tell you, the group rose went to Gil. And because he told this story, I didn't pay a lot of attention to his story because I don't like him because of what he did. Okay. So he adopted his daughter when she was like 6 years old, I guess. And so she gave it to him because of that. ABC, I thought you were saying that there wasn't going to be a lot of focus on him. I need that asshole gone. I don't see any kind of romantical connection between them. Dump him. So Joan, listen, next day, Joan sends a massage. I guess they send a massage therapist over there. The guys get all their kinks worked out. But Guy, I'm not complaining because, listen, Guy's built pretty nice. Guy goes, all the other guys are just in their swim trunks. Guy goes balls to the wall and goes full Monty and just takes everything off and gets it all rubbed. I mean, he's good looking, but geez. Okay, so the one-on-one, Jonathan, they go horseback riding. Neither one of them have ridden, and Joan in the past was bit by a horse. So she's like, uh-oh. So they're riding. It's beautiful. They sit by a lake. They drink some champagne. He talks about his wife, and he was like, I was sleeping, and my wife came upstairs and woke me up and was like, I want a divorce. I'm not happy. So he unzipped his luggage, and he packed to move out. And he said that when he was packing to like go on the Golden Bachelorette, he unzipped it and it reminded him of that day. And he felt like, oh my gosh, maybe I'm just not enough. He felt like he wasn't enough back then. So he feels this even more now. And she was like, you are absolutely enough. And there's a reason why you're here. Don't you think that way? So she gave the rose to him because he was very vulnerable. So on their way back, she sees this hawk. And remember, the hawk reminds her of her husband, John. And this, like I said, this makes her think of her mom and John. And she has these feelings that are coming up, but she's pushing them down. She keeps pushing them down. But now they're really bubbling up to the surface because she hasn't dealt with it. So, listen, back at the mansion, Captain Kim is like, I think I'm going to write a song and we can all sing it. So he writes it and then he sings it. I'm going to tell you, Gary's I wouldn't have said anything, but Gary's face, like you could tell the guys were like uncomfortable. It was awkward. Gary's face was my face that I would have made, I guarantee it. And Gary and was it Dan maybe who was like, I'm not saying that. I think it was Dan who was like, you wrote it. It's your song. I'm not going to sing it. And then Kim was like off camera. Was he like comparing himself to Beethoven? I wouldn't have sung it. I wouldn't have sung it either. So Joan heads over to the mansion. It's pretty emotional. She opens up about like what's going on. She says they're opening up and she feels terrible because she's not being her true self. She's going to be more vulnerable. She misses her family. Her mom is sick. She says that I say that I'm ready to be in love because it's what everybody expects me to say, but I don't know if I am ready for love. I don't know if I'll ever be fully ready for love. I might not ever be at 100%. I might be at 90%. And here's the thing. I don't think any of them are ever going to be at 100% because there's always going to be that remnant, that memory of your loved one that you lost, that's gone, that you're going to hold on to. So, and the guys are very understanding about this. They all bond together to help her out and get through this. Then Gary Jerry shows up, and fuck Gary Jerry. And when he said, have you ever considered that your guy is not here? Thank you, baby Jesus, that he wasn't saying, maybe it's me. Because I would have lit my TV on fire and thrown it out the damn window if that would have happened. Now, they have him on to give advice. I don't know that you should take any of his advice because it ended badly and quickly for him and Teresa. So I don't know if you should take any advice on him at all. None. So all the guys get together. They band together. Guy and Kim sing the song. Jordan brings some cookies. Another guy gets dressed up in the shark outfit, the shark pajamas. And it made her happy. Okay, so the rose ceremony. Okay, let's get the rose ceremony. These are the ones who got the roses. Guy, Dan, Gary, Jordan, Chalk. At this point, Keith is really worried. Keith is real nervous. Charles L, Keith, and then it's coming to the last rose. And I have Mark, because it better be. So who's it going to be? It was Mark. Mark got the last rose. So that means headed out are Kim, CK, and Greg. And Pascal's going to be devastated by Greg because who's going to do his laundry? I don't know. Okay. So listen, put in the comments if you watched and what you thought about it. And listen, if nobody told you yet today, you were loved, seen, and heard, please make sure that you put love, kindness, compassion, acceptance, hope, and positivity out there in the world. Please take care of one another. Please be aware of your surroundings. Be safe. Please hydrate. Hydrate often with water, no matter where you're at. And also, if you're someplace where you are affected by the flooding from Helene, please know that we are keeping you in our prayers. We're sending out love and positive thoughts. And I will talk to you guys. I will see you guys tomorrow for who knows what. Probably one of many recaps and rants for Salt Lake City. So, okay, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye, guys.